The question is what happens when a country's opposition is severely weakened as the ruling APC moves towards its national convention in March and the general election scheduled for 2027. Analysts say major opposition parties remain in disarray and are hard-pressed to keep up. Meanwhile, Nigerians continue to face a range of challenges, including worsening insecurity, rising poverty, a shrinking middle class, and failing power, education, and health sectors. Controversy over the national budget has added to public concern. Amid these crises, one politician says he has a plan to rescue Nigeria. Yabagi Sani, former chairman of the Inter-Party Advisory Council (IPAC), now leads the Action Democratic Party (ADP) in what he calls a State of the Nation address. Sani says his party can guide Nigeria's recovery peacefully, democratically, and decisively.
2023, Nigeria has undergone sweeping policy shifts presented as bold reforms. Yet, for millions of Nigerians, daily life has become harsher, more insecure, more uncertain. According to national household surveys, over 60% of families report a decline in real income since 2023, while public confidence in governance continues to erode. This address is not motivated by partisanship. It is driven by patriotism, constitutional duty, and national responsibility. Nations decline not only when leaders err, but when truth is avoided and accountability is postponed. Today, we choose truth. Our nation is living with fear. The foremost duty of any government is the protection of lives and property. By this standard, Nigeria remains gravely distressed. Between 2023 and mid-2025, independent security trackers estimate over 15,000 fatalities linked to terrorism, banditry, kidnapping, and communal violence. Nigeria continues to record thousands of abductions annually, with ransom running into trillions of naira over recent years. More than 3.5 million Nigerians remain internally displaced, many unable to return to farming or schooling.
Well, we just had a snippet of the State of the Nation address from the national chairman of the Action Democratic Party, Yabagi Sani, who joins me now in the studio. He's also the former chairman of the Inter-Party Advisory Council, that's the IPAC. Glad to have you join me here on Arise Prime Time.
Thank you very much, Indy, for having me.
Yeah,
and like Merry Christmas.
Yeah,
we're already in the,
thank you so much. The same
very much in the season.
Yeah.
Yes.
Well, one of the things you said there, I don't know whether that came out there, is Nigeria's insecurity is not a manpower problem. It is a systemic failure driven by political interference, corruption, fragmented intelligence, and lack of consequence of failure. I will get to that, but first off, remaining 130 Catholic are now learning from our correspondent who you listen to. There's not just girls, there were also boys, but I mean all over the papers it's been girls, girls, girls. And teachers also got their freedom. A plus for the government, you would say, or how do you see it?
Well, it depends on how you look at it, really.
So how do you look at it?
The way I look at it is that we are in trouble in this country. We're in trouble because government is becoming more and more economical with the truth. They don't want the citizens to get the truth about about what is happening. As a matter of fact, if you look at the scenario surrounding the Niger State kidnap of the children, it's shrouded in a lot of secrecy, mostly on the part of the government. Because I don't understand how the children were kidnapped. Immediately they say 50 were
escaped.
Escaped. Then shortly after,
100 batch
were released, and then before Christmas, we are now getting about 130 or something released. So by calculation, which means there are more still with the kidnappers. And then you now ask, somebody asked a question, I think, that how much did they pay or how did they get these children out? And they said they were rescued, Not that the kidnappers released them, the word rescue would mean that maybe you had to go into some combat, activities to get the children out. And that's why we have been told how many kidnappers were neutralized, or how many of our soldiers, unfortunately, were involved, but nothing of that, the government is not telling anything about that. So I know it's not adding up. And as a serious, government, you need to be very, very factual when you're addressing your citizens, especially on issues that touches people's, lives. But the kidnapping has become an industry, and then we keep hearing how even people that are supposed to protect us are now giving their arms to bandits, hiring them or selling the arms to them. Just about a few days ago, they said the police officer killed himself because of, the fact that they were interrogating him and they could see that, definitely everything is over for him, which means even the actors, state actors themselves are involved in this business. And government has to really come out and rearrange our security architecture. Like I said, changing faces in a broken system can never fix our security system. You can't fix the security problem we have. You cannot fix it, by saying you remove somebody yesterday, in a position, and then all of a sudden the person now becomes again, almost, brought back into the same position. And saying that is the solution, that you are now changing the faces or changing the man's position will result into solution. But we have seen the futility of, being kind of propaganda or lying to yourself, and then because the security, as we speak today, like people are being kidnapped. Plateau State, I just read an hour ago that about 12 travelers were kidnapped by the bandits, just some few hours ago. I read about that. So as we speak, this thing is happening. So which means we haven't gotten it right. And how do we explain a situation where something keeps happening over and over again for how many years now, and we still have not been able to come up with a solution?
And that's where some commentators have something. Let me use the word against the opposition. Talk is cheap. I was discussing with you off camera that if you tell somebody to go off smoking and you don't tell him what to do, he's going to go back to smoking. So when you said that the security architecture, like most oppositions say, something has to be done.
Yeah, the system
the
has to
cry
be fixed.
against the opposition is the opposition never gives out how do we solve this problem. Because if you're able to tell Nigerians this is what we need to do, add A plus B minus 1 and put 2, and then we get it right, then maybe Nigerians will be able to say, okay, let's try this. So why is the opposition, like you talked about rescuing Nigeria, not able to come out with a picture, a good, what they need to do, what we should do, to get things right?
What we should do is to hold people accountable. You don't give billions of naira or dollars to people to fix a problem for you, and the problem keeps becoming more and more compounding. You don't get solutions. You get the results, and nobody has been taken to court or before a serious panel of or judicial commission or something like that to probe. The military, as I know, I don't know when last anybody in the military has been asked to explain about the trillions of naira that today we are spending on insecurity. A situation where you don't hold anybody to account. What do you expect, for God's sake? people will, of course, exploit the situation and then keep, making this money for themselves. We have cases that should have been dealt with. Maybe we should have solved this problem long ago. That's why I said it is something that government itself, is lying to us, being economical with the truth, and then this is why we are in this mess. If we do not have the responsibility of asking people to explain, I've given you this money, you asked me to bring this money, you asked me to buy you these arms, I bought it. What happened? Why is insecurity still happening? Why are soldiers leaving their duty post about 30 minutes to strike by bandits, and the security people have not been able to give any intelligence answer to anybody?
That was the question that the Governor Idris asked. Exactly.
Now we go on as business as usual. We will not do that, for God's sake. We will not. ADP will never do that.
What will you do instead?
We will hold people accountable. Believe you me, it's very easy.
Okay, on this call.
It's very easy.
Yeah.
I tell you, for instance, if Mr. President now says that a DPO who is in charge of a particular area, the military commander who is in charge of a particular area, that if anything happens, in fact, I will take a resignation letter from you before I post you to that area. Signed, you would have signed your resignation letter. I will just put a date there and then say you are removed. And somebody else will take your position. Because which means you are not useful, and you being there is not the solution, and we need a solution. So what I'm saying, government itself has been very, very compromised, with in the complicit, actually, I would say the word complicit, because they are working for Mr. President, a police officer that now sold arms to people. He's an employee of federal government. What have they done?
Okay, well, the governor of Ogun State, incidentally, Abiodun, he's urging the security agencies to ensure that the terrorists or bandits or abductors or kidnappers, whatever you want to call them, behind the attacks on innocent and law-abiding Nigerians are hunted down and prosecuted to the full extent allowed by the law. Why is government mum on the perpetrators of this dastardly act?
That's what I'm saying. I say they are complicit.
What do you make of Governor Ogun's statement?
No, Governor Ogun's statement is in order, because he says that people should be brought to book.
Prosecuted?
Yes, prosecuted. That's what he means. And that's exactly what I'm saying. People have to be held accountable. When you are giving resources, you are giving the mandate. Whatever you ask for, you are giving, and I'm not seeing results. And I keep, doing the same thing, and they expect, the results. You see that we are mad. We don't know what we are doing, or we know what we are doing, but we are taking people for a ride. So the issue, we as ADP, and I'm sure, any serious government will not play with the security of the nation the way President Bola Ahmed Tinubu is doing. Because we expect much, much more than what he's given.
Suddenly,
this system.
Chairman, what's your gut feeling about the rising insecurity? Because suddenly insecurity is rising.
Yes.
And money, some people have called it money-yielding enterprise.
It is.
Of kidnapping that is just ravaging the nation.
Yeah.
Why the sudden rise in insecurity and kidnapping particularly?
Lack of accountability. When the service chiefs were retired, what happened? They were given, I don't have the records to show any evidence, but I understand that they were given so much money to go home. In fact, during Buhari's time, they were even rewarded with ambassadorial appointments and things like that. And these people failed the system. They failed us completely. Everybody knows about that. So what are you saying? How can you ever get it right? When failure is something that you reward failure instead of success. So this is the problem we have. It is our government, and it is people of Nigeria that should hold the government to account.
Let's talk on politics, and let's move a little bit away from the security. Reps refused to criminalize vote buying. You're aware of that? Obi is arguing that refusing to criminalize vote buying during party primaries amounts to protecting a broken system rather than safeguarding Nigeria's democratic future. What will be the effect on our democracy? And why some would ask, why is the why is reps, House of Reps I mean, refusing to criminalize? Do you think it should be criminalized, vote buying?
Oh, of course, it's a criminal offense everywhere in the world.
So why is reps refusing to criminalize it?
I mean, your guess is as good as mine, that because they came to where they are through that system. They used money. It isn't because they are qualified. It isn't because people want them or like them or voted for them. It's because they used money. We know that for sure, that money is used to buy votes in this country. It's not a hidden secret. Dollars were even involved in some cases. Yes. We know. And the people that came to power, came to where they are today, they came through that system. So how do you want an emperor to disintegrate his empire? It's not possible.
Okay, in all this, I mean, we're going to discuss economics and then I've asked you before anyway, but maybe I should ask it again, because you're talking about rescuing. You said rescue Nigeria peacefully, I think democratically.
Exactly.
And then decisively.
Yes.
How do you want to do that?
No, decisively will mean there are two sectors of the economy in this country. And God has so blessed us that if you have a president that is serious, number one, that has fear of God, because that is the bottom of everything. Number two, he is somebody who is very, very aware of legacy and history. You will quickly take advantage of what God has given to this country in terms of what? Human capital, natural endowment, in terms of petroleum or mineral resources, or the good weather we have. We don't suffer natural disasters like other climes. We play big in terms of global economy. Nigeria plays big because fortunately for us, our comparative advantage is in the area that is in demand, which is energy. Even if you look at the new energy, renewable energy, Nigeria still has comparative advantage. So as a leader of this, as a president of this country, believe you me, all you need to do is to put people together. And then when you, in the process of putting people together again, there are things that you must take care of. What is it? Don't play politics. Politics stops after campaigns. When you are in the campaign trail,
it should stop after campaign.
Exactly. Governance is a different thing entirely. But today, what we have seen, if truth must be told, the appointments made by Bola Ahmed Tinubu, our president, is lopsided, and it introduces in the system a kind of anathema, in others that are not from that particular part of the country, because you now appoint all the heads of the financial sectors of the economy, from one section of the country. And unfortunately for you, the rank and file that will make any policy or programs work are peopled by all of us, Hausas, Igbos, Yorubas, what have you, not only this one ethnic group. So systems are sabotaged, not directly, but by saying, sir, we are working on it. They are working on nothing. Because they say it's their government. That's what people will say. I will not do that. I will make sure I take this country as my constituency and take advantage of these God-given resources and then use it to the advantage of the people of this country. That is the only way you can get everybody to be in line with you, and they will work their hearts out because they know that you have taken them along and you tell them that they belong, that this country belongs to all of us. It doesn't matter the language you speak or the kind of faith you practice or the kind of dress you wear or something like. No, that is not my criteria. My criteria is you are a Nigerian in the first instance and you can deliver. That is not happening in this government yet. That's why we are rigmaroling. It is the truth. We know it.
And then you added democratically. So I'll ask you this question on that,
Yes.
on the democratic aspect.
Yes.
Are the opposition not ascribing too much powers to one man when you said Tinubu is dismantling the opposition parties? Some are of the opinion that the opposition parties are just lame ducks who have no idea about what true opposition really is and are actually the ones shooting themselves on the foot.
Yes, it's very easy to say that because that is when you do not look at the fundamentals, don't look at the environment itself. You don't look at how inadvertently we ourselves bust ourselves to that corner where opposition cannot thrive under this system. That is the system you have in this country, which is we legalized in our constitution. We legalized
in the constitution?
Yes, it's in the constitution. Our constitution says, Mr. President, who often than not is a candidate in an election, should appoint all the people that are going to supervise the elections.
I'm going to come to that. That's why you talked about, while still discussing that. So let me just add this for you. You're arguing that NAS to remove the power to appoint, NAS should remove the power to appoint INEC chair and the IGP. I mean,
yes.
Why?
Why? Because those are the leading agencies in the election. They're leading agencies. And it's like a football match or something like that, where one side will now appoint all the officiating team. One side, he appoints the referees, he appoints the linesman, he appoints everybody. And the other side is just, also he has nobody. They don't have anybody. In fact, they don't even come near the appointments or, payments or anything, influencing their officiating. So what do you expect, for God's sake?
So you're saying that is what is making the opposition not to stand strong?
Of course, when you look at it. And unfortunately for you, in the system again, the three arms of the government have been collapsed into one.
No, but you still have the executive, you still have the parliamentary, which is the NAS, and you still have the judiciary.
You didn't listen to what the National Assembly, the Senate President was saying, that everything that the President brought, they passed it. And everything is good, just like the Lawan said to Buhari, the same thing, it was echoed by Akpabio. And that's what they are doing. Why? Because he handpicked them. All the principal officers, President Ahmed Bola Tinubu handpicked them. They were not elected by the members. He handpicked them and made sure they were all returned. Not single one of the principal officers of the house, the two houses, were elected by the members of those houses. So who are they? Who are the allegiances? Who? They even sang the song that your mandate will stand in the National Assembly.
What's wrong with that?
What's wrong with that? What's wrong with that is that you are telling us that you are not for democracy. You are for one individual. And this is a multi-party system. And in a multi-party system, you don't turn, the National Assembly to one man's, estate, which is what they have done. And we look at judiciary. That's why I say we legalized the illegality of what is happening in the political space. Judiciary is appointed by the executive.
So how do you intend to? I mean, let's say.
That's why I said we are going to govern. We will make sure that these things are reversed. We will work with National Assembly to give Nigerians a system that will work for democracy, and by so doing, work for the people of this country. Not this system. This system is illegal. We know it can't deliver democracy as it is intended.
So which system are you looking at?
Oh, a system whereby you have, like I gave you the INEC officials. They should be truly independent. Truly independent. And because you know what is happening? President Bola Ahmed Tinubu will just do whatever he likes. No checks and balances as far as the situation today we have is concerned. Look at INEC building, headquarters that is being built now by Wike. The Constitution specifically said that no agency of government, no individual, no group of people should acquire for INEC any of their facilities. That INEC is supposed to be independent and autonomous. Their money comes from the consolidated revenue of the country. They are not supposed to go through the budgeting system that you have today, whereby the INEC chairman will have to go and then, begging Minister of Finance, to Mr. President to now release, and then they give them. That's not what the Constitution says. A stark violation of the Constitution is being tolerated. They are building the headquarters. APC is building headquarters for INEC. So how do you think they will not bog that place?
How will the opposition, because, if the Constitution is being violated and the opposition is weak in the way it is, how are they going to, opposition Nigerians, make sure that the government in power does what the Constitution says? Because if you don't follow the Constitution, it's anarchy.
Yeah, it's anarchy if you don't follow the Constitution. And if you go on thinking that because you have all these illegal, powers being legalized, and you use it, to muffle and then squeeze the space, you suffocate democracy. And end of the day, not only coups collapse democracy, suffocation also collapses the democracy. We saw it happened, when MPN was in power, it's because they said they have taken over the whole country, and then what happened? End of the day, because at that point in time you have left democracy to its, at that point in time you're on a roller coaster. Where we land is anyone's guess, because right. the safetiness, the guarantee that democracy has to survive has been removed, which is the opposition.
All right. Yabagi Sani, former chairman of the Inter-Party Advisory Council, now the chairman of the Action Democratic Party. We wish you the best and hope that you have the opportunity to come on board and rescue Nigeria.
By the grace of God, we will come on board.
Thank you so much. Well, that's it for this edition of Arise Prime Time. Do join us again, same time tomorrow. From me and the entire team here in Abuja, goodbye and thank you for watching.